Hi, this is 365801 and this is my wrap video for the month of December 2021. So this is everything that I read in the month of December that's in physical form. There are not a lot here, 12 volumes, which is not a lot when I totaled up on Goodreads everything that I read for the month of December, and I came to 60 entries, which is an awful lot. I think that's the most I've read in any month, and that didn't include some of the books that I started. I actually read, I think, like 4 chapters into an Alice Oseman book. I also read some chapters here and there, like Pink Heart Jam on Fatikawa, so that was just a 1 chapter, so I didn't include that with my Goodreads. So I still read 60 entries on Goodreads for this month, which is insane. So yeah, not many physical titles though. But anyway, let's just go through everything that I read. So the first 3 that I'm putting up on the screen just now, 7 Days, that's Monday through Sunday, the Sublime title, Venio Tachibana, Rito Takarai, Classmates, this is volume 2, Winter Tsutsugyo-sei, this is by Nakamura Asumiko, and Spring Fever, this is a due title, Yugi Yamada. So I read these 3 in the first week of December as part of my Buzzword, my final Buzzwords for the year of 2021. These were the physical titles that I had in my collection that kind of corresponded to the theme, which was days, months and seasons. And I do have a vlog video for that, so I'll put a link in the corner if you're interested. And that's mainly where I give most of my views and how much I enjoy them. So if you want to find out more, you can go and watch that vlog. Basically, 7 Days is a reread. I've read it loads. I love it. It's brilliant. It's classic. It's amazing. Classmates, it's amazing. It's classic. I've read it. It's great. And Spring Fever was the only new read for me. And this was a Yugi Yamada title that I had been really excited about getting. I was excited to finally get because it was one of the last ones that would complete my Yugi Yamada in English collection. So I think I now have everything by Yugi Yamada, which means I, in theory, could do a Yugi Yamada like reading marathon, and I might just do that and read everything by Yugi Yamada, which would be a fun vlog for me, probably not so much for anyone else. But I wouldn't care because I'd be like living my best life. So yeah, I would like to do that and actually read all of a particular author or mangaka's works in one vlog, and so I can compare and contrast their writing style or read it in the order it was published. And that's a big thing when it comes to Spring Fever. It was very much dated in a lot of the language that it used, but that's the English language, and I'm not entirely sure what the Japanese would have been. I'm assuming it would be dated as well. I don't think Yugi Yamada would ascribe to the usage of some of the terms that are quite offensive in Spring Fever. The stories themselves are fine and very passable and enjoyable, and they were interesting. There were elements to it that I didn't particularly like, but that are very pertinent to the time period in which it was originally produced. So yeah, fun overall, a good read, and I enjoyed the physical reading of these titles for my Buzzword readathon. The next physical title is Twittering Birds, and that's volume 5, Yoneda Ko. Very happy that I was able to pick this up. I am on the lookout for volume 6, if I can get one. This volume though was like very emotionally charged, very physically active. There was a lot going in. It's quite dense. The plot really pushes along at a really fast pace in this particular volume. It is the one where everyone is like, whoa, the shit hit the fan, or oh my god, it finally happened. So yeah, there's a lot of emotional energy in this one. It's really ramping up. So yeah, volume 6 will be a fun read. If you don't have an emotional connection to Twittering Birds, then you're probably just like, oh, okay, it's like a Yakuza story. And I've really discovered about myself that I'm not really a huge fan of Yakuza stories, and yet Twittering Birds will always be in like the top when it comes to any kind of list that I have, because Yonadako's work is just so stunning, and because this has been in my life for such a long time. So yeah, very happy to have this book. That's 2 volumes in 1 year. Wow! It really should be 3, but we're in the UK, and you know, June manga being what it is, I'll hopefully pick up volume 6 in the next year. Now this is quite a wee stack of physical titles. I've got Don't Be Cruel, obviously I've got volumes 5 through 9, and the Don't Be Cruel plus 2 volume, as well as the extra, which is a kind of spin-off of some of the characters. And I hadn't read them all before. I had read volume 5, I'd read up to volume, I think 7 or 8. No, I hadn't. I don't think I'd read volume, maybe I had volume 8, but I hadn't read volume 9 or the Don't Be Cruel plus 2. And I hadn't read Akira's story either, because it was in my other collection, but I managed to pick it up the last time I was there. So I was able to put not the full collection together, but at least these in order, so I could sit and read from Akira's story right through to plus 2. Which was nice. It was just a fun time. This is the kind of thing that I'd wanted to do at the start of the year, which was take multiple volume stories that were in my collection and just read through them, like binge read a series, and I enjoyed it. I haven't done enough of it this year, or I've started and been put off for whatever reason, but this was a nice way to end the year, that I did actually choose one of the series that I was interested in doing a big binge read of and do it. And I do love Maya. I mean, he's a flawed character for sure, and he definitely started off as a wrong'un, which was kind of his, you know, his kind of his attraction, his point of interest. And Nemugasa's just a wee sweetheart, and they've grown so much. They're like my babies. They've grown from these high school kids to these university kids, and they're still kids for me, but you wish them well and you hope that they get the best out of life. And there's definitely elements that I like address how the story started, which is always one of the big things with stories that started in the mid or early 2000s, that a lot of them start with assault, and so they have had to address that as the series got popular and carried on, or not, as I'm about to say, or not, and the fact that there is a huge emotional connection between these two characters, and Nemugasa has definitely been put through the ringer emotionally over the last few volumes. Maya as well, with his dad finding out, that was just... But anytime he gets his kit off and they get down to it, I'm like, yes, love this, because Nekota Yonezo just does chef's kiss, fabulous sex scenes. They're just so sexy, and Maya is just so sexy, and she does just the best. Like, I'm not going to talk about it, but maybe I'll talk about it. I just love his naked body. It's so good. It's so good. It just makes me feel so happy. So I'm looking forward to what will probably be volume 10. I'm assuming there'll be a volume 10 at some point this year coming, and I will quite happily buy that as well. Continue this series, and I will keep reading it. I just like it. It's one that's kept with me. A lot of the Don't Be Cruel ++2, like, this is actually, I don't know if you know, but it is actually a collection of doujinshi, and I used to go and collect the actual doujinshi at the comic markets and things in Japan. And so Don't Be Cruel is Hidoku Shinaide, and the doujinshis are Yasashikute Kudasai. And so I have quite a few of these already, but a couple of them I hadn't read, so I was really happy to be able to finally read them. So yeah, this was a really good, enjoyable pre-Christmas distraction. Okay, so talking of early to mid 2000 stories that start with assault, one of the big ones is Finder. This is volume 10, which I purchased ages ago, And I finally got round to like taking off the plastic and giving it a good read, and I gave it a good read. And honestly, I was like, oh yeah, it's this part in the story. Honestly, you could just pick up any Finder story and it's the exact same thing happening. And yet, at the same time, there was some plot development. So definitely, Fei Long is, being a slightly different character to when he first came about. He's definitely had some character growth, and he's definitely, putting in the work for Asami. Wow, he's really, he put his bottom on the line, literally. It was a funny one, it was a weird one, and in a way there's been some plot development, and in a way they're exactly in the same position they were before. Nothing really has changed. So yeah, it was interesting, it was fun, it was exciting. There was, once again, Mafia. It's Mafia 1, and I'm like, I don't like Mafia 1s, but yet Finder, I don't class as a Mafia 1. I think Takaba's just, the whole photography thing, when is he picking up a camera? He's never picking up a camera. He's never. I do love their smexy times though. Asami, oh my god, I love his body. Ugh, I definitely have a type. I have a type that just makes me drool. And god, I love it. So yeah, Finder is one that I will pick up anytime, anywhere, because I'm an old fujoshi and I have sentimental value for all of these. Love it. Thought it was great. Brilliant. 5 out of 5. So I just want to talk a little bit about the Fatikawa titles that I read for this month. I did read quite a few, so I'm going to try and rattle through these quite quickly. The first 3 were for the Buzzword readathon that I did. The first one being Please Meet Me in the Restroom Every Wednesday, Arakata, which had a surprising amount of heart in it, considering it was so sex heavy and sex focused. There was a lot more about emotions in there than I had expected. And the next one being Pound Cake on Sunday, which I thought was going to go in a way, and it went in a different way, and I liked it a lot. And it was a lot more kind of accepting. It was just lovely. There was a sort of sense of family, community, kind of all together, and the friend was funny, and I liked how this, salaryman was just being looked after by his boss, and the son was just like, right, I'm having it. It was not what I had expected, and I really enjoyed that. I liked being surprised. I liked being pleasantly surprised by that title. So yeah, I do really recommend that one. The next one, A Tunnel of Spring Rain, by Kei Kingawa. I felt like, I must have read this one already, or read some of her work before, but I didn't really, like, it felt like it, even from the synopsis, was one that I'd already read. It felt like it was like, it's this kind of story, and I can't say I really enjoyed it that much. It was okay, but it wasn't great. And it was a bit disappointing because I had expected to like this one the most, which is why I left it for the end out of the 3. But it was the most disappointing, and I much preferred the other 2. So yeah. Then I went on to Beast Storm Kiss Me Baby, because you know how much I loved Beast Storm the first time. Absolutely loved it. The baby is the cutest. It's the cutest. I think that there's more. Is there more? If you know if there's more. Kuroi Mori's work. I think she might have another volume of this. Or is that the end of it? I hope it's not the end of it, because I could read about this wee family until the cows come home. I just think they're adorable. Why have they got 4 ears? I do not know. But I'm okay with it because it's cute. And why is it so sweet when it's so sex heavy as well? I'm completely 100% 2 feet invested in this family dynamic. I love them. I love them so much. I don't know why. I think it's because Mori Kuroi's work is just so pretty, and also because I've been looking at this baby with the double ears all year. I don't know if they're going to continue putting up artwork on their Twitter, but I've thoroughly enjoyed the majority of the year having free skins. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Whatever your homepage artwork is for your phone. And I've loved having this lovely, delightful little double-eared baby doing lots of seasonal things all year on my phone. I got it at the start of the year, and I've been getting one every month, and I've enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, Beaststorm has a place in my heart because it seems like that was the artwork for the year. I also had a wee read of Pink Heart Jam. This is the 8th chapter that came out. I did mention it, and the next chapter will come out in February 25th, so put it in your diaries. I loved this latest chapter. I thought it was going to be the last one. I thought it was going to be the final one. I was like all ready to have like the final, like, oh yeah, this is going to be it. But no, there's more, which is good because I love it. But also, I kind of just want them to get together. Oh, it's so frustrating. So sexy. I really enjoy the artwork, the characters. It's just sweet and cute. I love the chibis. Just love them. So yeah, looking forward to more Pink Heart Jam. I then moved on to Cupid is Struck by Lightning. This is a Suzumaru Minta story, so duh, of course I read it. I think there's some more coming out in the end of December as well, so they'll be up now and I'll have to read some. God, I love Suzumaru Minta. This one is a really cute one about a boy who has a scar that he's kind of a bit kind of self-conscious about, and another boy who asks him quite bluntly, straight out. And he's doing it because girls are wanting him to, but then he finds out actually talking to this boy, he finds this boy a lot more interesting and entertaining. And then they end up catching feelings as they do, and it's super cute, and it's got Suzumaru Minta's fabulous art style, which you just can't help but fall in love with. I love her work so much, so I read everything that Suzumaru Minta puts out. I then read Love Story of Hoshino Zoo. This is by Koyama, who also did the family one, Can We Be a Family, which Tokyo Pop has a physical version of, but I've only read the Fatikawa version, and I read it last month. And because I really enjoyed it, and the art style was really cute, and that was a really cute story, I was quite excited to read this one. And once again, the art style was cute, and the stories were a series of stories where it's like a student, he can see animals, but in a personification kind of a way. So he can talk to them and get to know them, and he just kind of gives them kind of love advice, I guess, and the relationship advice, but he himself is kind of standoffish with real people because he can talk to animals, and so it looks weird if he's like chatting to a penguin about the penguin's crush on the penguin enclosure, you know, keeper, and he's like, yeah, I've got a real thing for this guy. And yet when he's in penguin form, he's just doing like weird penguin things. It's so cute. I loved this. This was super, super cute. It kind of reminded me of a cute pink version of the Wise Wise Beasts. So if you like the Wise Wise Beasts, because of the animals and the cute things that animals did, then you would definitely love this one. I loved it because they were just so funny. Like the giraffe dude at the end. Oh my god. I don't know what it was, but the giraffe just made me laugh so much. As such a tall man. Anyway, it was cute. I would read another volume of this. It was brilliant. I then went on to read My Only Doggy. This is by Echo. And it was not what I had expected. So once again, this is like a whole animal thing. I ended up on a bit of an animal, I guess, an animal characteristics read. I really should do this properly. Just do it like as a vlog. Just read them all. But anyway, My Only Doggy is about a man who's not someone who can turn into a dog, working for a company, which I think turns out that almost everyone who works at the company is a dog that can turn into a human and then works at this company. And he works for the dog food section. He gets put into that department. And his boss is a Rottweiler, but kind of a cutie at the same time. And they've all been dogs or cats actually that have been kind of not abandoned or mistreated or that kind of thing, but in a way, and they're all kind of like get together and they work together, and he finds out that they're all dogs and they've all got like dog traits, and he ends up falling in love with his boss, who is the Rottweiler, and the Rottweiler's like, no, I don't want to be, with another human again. That was traumatic. But he's like falling in love with him, so it's just really weird and funny, and I really enjoyed it, and I didn't expect to. And the art style was really cute because it was all dogs, and I'm a dog lover, so this was something I did not expect, and also something I really enjoyed. So yeah, My Only Doggy was really good, actually. Really enjoyed it. I then went on to another one called Perfect Propose. I kind of felt like I needed sweet, cute, light, fluffy reads, and these were all sweet, cute, light, fluffy reads. This is by Mayo Tsurukame, and it's about a guy who's really stressed out, and he comes home and he finds someone that he used to know, like a family friend type thing. And he kind of takes on his wifely duties and looks after him, and they just enjoy each other's company so much and end up falling in love. It's just kind of a cute one. It's like a salaryman who's just not having the best life. He's obviously overworked, and the whole romance side of things was good, but also it was more about the story about the main character and how badly treated he was at work. What in Japan I think they call black companies that overwork you, that have really toxic workplace environments, that don't give you any holiday or free time, that force you to do the overtime. It was more about his life and him turning his life around with the help of this other person, but mainly he needed to do that, and I really liked that. I liked his friend from work too that looked after him. That was good as well. So yeah, that's a good one. I recommend that one too. I next went on to I Won't Fall in Love with My Sex Friend by Ichino E, and this was quite spicy, but I was a bit like, it looked like it was going to be cute, but it actually ended up being a little bit sinister in a way. So there's a guy who he's kind of oblivious, or at least he looks like he is, but he's like got a split personality, and he keeps leading people on and having sex with them, and then they catch feelings for him, and then he just like ghosts them or breaks their heart. And so he ends up with stalkers and like attackers and stuff, and some guy who's new to university like saves him and thinks he's doing a good job, but then the guy assaults him and basically is like, right, let's have sex. And so because he kind of forced himself on him, but then they end up having sex, he's like, right, you just have to keep having sex with me because I took a photo of you. So he kind of gets blackmailed into having a relationship with him, which was the sinister aspect to me. I'm like, this is not a good dude, guy. You gotta get out of this relationship. But they end up falling in love, of course. It was all a bit like, I'm not sure. It looks like it's really cute and sweet. It's not. There's a sinister aspect there. So yeah, although very spicy. So after that, I did need a little bit of a palette cleanser. So I went for another cute, sweet one that has like the pink background. And I think if it's got a pink background, it must be fine. It must be like in that homely, warm blanket type feel that makes me, go, oh, that was nice. Very Koyama. Anyway, Baby's Love Sitter was an odd one, but I really enjoyed it. It's quite by Nonda Noda, and it was about it starts off with the male host, or basically it's like a soapland. You can mail order, phone order. It's like Just Eats, but instead it's sex. Just sex, I guess. Did somebody go? But that's basically what you can do in Japan. You can phone and order. Can I get a number 62? And a number 5? It's like Chinese food order, but instead it's like, can I get a blonde-haired, blue-eyed twink who's into BDSM? Thank you. 8 o'clock, that's fine. So anyway, Akira works as a male host call boy type thing. And he goes to this apartment, and so he goes through the door, and the guy's like, great, come on in. You're not the same guy that I usually have. No, is that okay? And it turns out he's been expecting a babysitter. So he thinks he's the babysitter. And then he's not, because he's like, let's get down to it. Great, this is a hot-looking young man rather than the usual old scabby guys I get. Great. Ugh. But he has a child that he needs looking after. He's kind of a weird... I liked Akira as the main boy. And I liked the kid. The kid was smart. The main, male lead, the salaryman who he went, the dad, who, in inverted commas, dad, because you don't know if he actually is. He's looking after this kid. He was not a character that I particularly liked. In the end, it was okay, but because Akira's happy, and I'm happy if Akira's happy, but I did not really enjoy him. I liked the kid, and I liked Akira with the kid. So I liked family dynamics, and once again, looking at the whole family ones, and I like family ones. I then went on to Misunderstanding with Some Love. This is by Fatikawa Jimmy. And this is about someone who has scent issues. He can't ride in trains or be in public spaces with lots of people who smell, because he doesn't like certain smells. Anyway, he's in a crowded train, he's gonna be sick, and then someone saves him and takes him off the train and gives him a wet cloth and stays with them. But he doesn't see the person because he's not feeling very well. He can just smell them. So he has to try and find this person. So he knows he's going to be an upperclassman in the new high school that he's going to. So he has to find this smell, and because he's got such a sensitive nose, he can sniff them out. And so he finds someone, and of course the person he finds, he ends up having a bit of an argument with, and the guy's like, oh, what a weirdo, because it's all about sniffing. And he's very much against male relationships because he's been kind of assaulted or groped, and he's not really into that, and so he kind of has to win him over, and they end up having a good relationship. And I like their friends. Their friends were very much accepting. I love it when high schools depict that, because I often felt like the high school that I worked in, that's how everyone was. They were much more accepting of anyone different or interesting than how often they're portrayed. There were, of course, cliques, and there were, of course, people who would say negative things. But on the whole, generally, I found that there was a lot more open and welcoming young Japanese people than there weren't, It's a lot more people are just oh yeah, cool, whatever. So yeah, then I think this is the last one. A love story between my boss and I, and then another love story between my trainee and I. And this is by Nana Meguri. And I have to say, I enjoyed the first volume, and then the second volume I didn't enjoy as much. The first volume is about, he's kind of like the head of a department. He's got a new trainee guy, and the new trainee guy finds out that he's gay and has a crush on his boss. So the big boss, the older guy, Furuya, is that his name? He was amazing. He was great. He was fantastic. The story about him and his pal, oh my god, had me in tears. So you knew he had a great heart. You knew he was he was accepting. But then there was bit of jealousy, and there was a bit of miscommunication in the second volume, and then there was the kind of a little bit of assault within a relationship, which I really don't like. But you didn't see it, but it was the implication that it had happened, and that was enough. And sometimes when you get things like Escape Journey, and I will always reference Escape Journey as one where assault within a relationship happens, because it's so visceral, and you watch it and you're there and you're feeling it, and you're like, oh, this is awful, please stop. And Yet this one, with another love story between my trainee and I, there is the implied. And you just get one brief panel. It's not even the full page, it's just one panel, and then all you get is the character afterwards saying how sorry they are that they did what they did, and there's no way that the person can forgive them. And then the person's like, no, it's fine, I forgive you. And you're like, oh, dude, we need more from that. So it wasn't dealt with. It was dealt with, but it wasn't dealt with to like my satisfaction. So yeah, this was a big one. It was 2 volumes. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the story, but it kind of soured it a little bit. The first volume I enjoyed a lot more than the second volume. Furia, is that his name? Anyway, is the best boy, even though he's an old man. But old mans I love, so especially if they're dapper and well dressed and they support their employees. So that was the other thing. Like, he knew, so this is the one thing, like, he knew that the other employees were being dicks about his homosexuality, and he was like, show them with your work. And in a way you're like, yes, but also maybe address that in your workplace because it's not on. But then in the same way, if you do like make a big song and dance about it, it could backfire. And that's an issue in real life, it needs to be addressed, but how do you go about addressing it so that you don't alienate one of the members? Because that member then needs to actually work with the other people. So yeah, there was bits about it that I didn't particularly like. It wasn't spicy, and yeah, the implied assault kind of came out of nowhere. And yeah, it was a bit shocking. So yeah, that was all of the Fatikawa titles, and I read quite a lot. I would like to read more. There's definitely more Fatikawa titles that I need to read. So yeah, I was very happy that I read a really good selection and a lot of variety, and mainly hits rather than misses. So a lot of good Fatikawa titles for December. So the last thing that I'm going to be talking about is Lily Morton, because once again I fell down a rabbit hole, and oh boy did I get stuck. Why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep just being like completely obsessed about something and just like devouring everything, and everything else in my life just goes to pot? Anyway, I read Best Man and I really enjoyed it, and so I had to read Charlie Sunshine and the spin-offs, and I had to read After Felix and all the spin-offs. So I ended up reading all of that. I found out that it was a 3-volume series. Did not know that when I first read the Best Man one. Damn it. And enjoyed it so much that I had to carry it on. And I ended up making a video, so I'll put a link to that video where I just review the whole series. And because there are characters in that series that appear in some of her other works, I had to then just try desperately not to read them all, and I just failed. I failed miserably. I have read quite a lot. I read that series, then Merry Measure, then I signed up for her newsletter and I got Playground Games, which was really cute because it was about teachers and I liked it. 3 Dates, which was good, which had a connection to Rule Breaker, which is the main one that people, when they recommend Lily Morton's works, that's the one that everyone talks about. So I was kind of like, put it off, don't do it, don't read it, don't, because it's the first in a trilogy. No, don't. And what did I do? I read it. It was terrible. I was like, oh, there's an audio book on Audible, just get it. So I did, and so I loved it. When I say I cried, oh my god, I bawled my eyes out. At Rule Breaker. I did. And then of course I had to read the rest of the series: Deal Breaker, Risk Taker, the companion series, Oz, Milo and Gideon. I then finished off the month with On a Midnight Clear. Oh, it was so cute, which has just been released just before Christmas. And then I read so many more of her extras and things like that, and that's what really got the number up to 60, because there's so many extras as well. So yeah, I will be doing a reading all of Lily Morton video, because I have been reading all of Lily Morton, so I'll be doing a really big review of all of her works in the coming year when I've finished reading all of her works. So that was a lot. I did read quite a lot of things this month, 60 altogether, and then a few other things that I started and didn't finish. So I feel really good about the amount of things I read, but also in the same kind of vein, I don't feel good about it because it was a lot. And now if I'm reading things, I do want to be able to review them, but review them properly. And I'm not reviewing any of Lily Morton stuff, not really, until I do a big review. And even then, it's going to end up a really big review. So, oh dear. I would like to get back to, I think, doing reviews weekly or fortnightly. I had planned to do a fortnightly one. I was midway through December and thought, great, you've read loads already, just do a quick wrap up for mid-month. And I think it might be worth doing them more frequently and actually looking at my star ratings and like page counts and actually doing more in-depth and keeping up with statistics and things like that, so that when it comes to the end of the year, when I'm looking at them all going, how many have I read and what have I done, that it's a bit easier. So yeah, I did do that at the start of last year, or 2021, January, February and March. I kind of was looking at how often I should do a wrap up. So yeah, I think I will have to do this a bit more frequently so that I'm not overwhelmed and these aren't super long videos all the time. So maybe look forward to more frequent wrap-ups. I'm not sure if I'll do them weekly, but I think I'm gonna have to do them fortnightly if I'm gonna read as many as I am. So yeah, this is the last one for 2021, and I did manage to hit my goal of 365 reads in the year. Considering I read so many things in prose, that's pretty good. So yeah, very happy with this month. 60 was way too much. I need to read less. Is what the conclusion is. I need to read less. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for coming along and listening to me yammer on about all the different things that I read. I'm 365801 and I make videos about yaoi, BL manga, male romance and all that good stuff. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribe if you'd like. Remember, every day is a BL day, and I'll see you the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.